Hey Dad, man, what motherboard's in this computer?
That's gotta be Asrock.
Today it's time to take a look at the X370 Taichi motherboard from Asrock, and it's supposed to be one of the most popular X370 boards to get. Though, is it the one to get? Let's find out. Welcome back, and without wasting any more of your time, let's get into the most important part, the price. The X370 will set you back around 200 USD, or if you're in Oz, it will set you back 316 Australian dollars. So, what do you get for this money? Well, the first is an incredibly solid VRM. It has a 6+2 phase power design, and when doubling the phases, you get 12+4 split between the V-core and SoC voltage. The Infineon IR35201 digital PWM is supporting the 6+2 phase mode, and it is one of the best digital PWMs currently out there, bar none. Each channel in the phase is sent to the dual driver chip that then outputs to two Texas Instruments CSD 87350Q5D NextFET MOSFETs. The MOSFETs are rated at 25 amps at 90% efficiency and have a 40 amp maximum capacity. The inductors are high quality 60 amp parts and the capacitors are 12 kFP Japanese capacitors. The memory also has its own two phases powered by the same aforementioned NextFETs. So all up, it is a very solid VRM, especially for overclockers using air and or water for 24/7 stable use. Now moving on to the onboard audio. You get a Realtek ALC 1220 DAC and ADC, and for the amplification there is a Texas Instruments NI-NE 5532 amp, which did a great job of powering my V-Motor headphones. Actually too good, with the max levels being very loud. And as for the other standard tests like crosstalk levels, this is where the board performed extremely well too, having incredibly low levels of crosstalk, meaning you get really good channel separation, and the mic port in is also very solid with low levels of noise. And on that note, I will let you guys take a listen. Here's a quick mic in test on the X370 Taichi's mic in port with the V-Motor Boom Pro, and also on that note, if you guys are streaming or you want to do any work with recording from that mic in port, then this is what it will sound like. As for overclocking, this board had no problems getting my 1800X to 4.025 GHz at 1.4 volts, and did so with temperatures that were extremely good on the VRM heatsink, where I measured with the IR gun a temperature of around 40 degrees Celsius in a 25 degree ambience with 20 mins in IDA 64. Keep in mind though that this is a well ventilated case with good airflow. Looking over the motherboard, the standout features are that there's two USB 3 and two USB 2 front out ports, a Dr. Debug LED readout, two RGB and one AMD LED fan headers, two PCIe 3 16-speed slots that connect directly to the CPU's PCIe controller, and one PCIe 2 16-speed slot and two PCIe 2 1-speed slots that connect via the chipset. There are also two M.2 NVMe ports, with one having support for both SATA 3 and PCIe, and the lower having only support for PCIe connectivity. There's also 5 4-pin fan headers, all with support for PWM control via the BIOS. And speaking of the BIOS, it is quite good. I have found since I first received the board that Asrock have improved it quite a lot. There is now options to save overclocking profiles and also manually overclock your CPU via 25 MHz increments in the manual P states. I have a full Ryzen overclocking tutorial up here which you guys can check out anytime. There's also the fantastic fan tuning software within the BIOS that works really easy and simple once you get the hang of it. With the 1.94 beta BIOS 2, I'm running 64GB of DDR4 memory and dual channel too, and haven't had any problems since. Also on the BIOS, you can control the heatsink located towards the bottom of the motherboard, which does feature RGB LED lighting. For rear input-output, you get, drum roll, wait for it, a clear CMOS. Thank the heavens I love this little button, which if you click it once, it will reset everything back to default. So overclocking is made very easy with this button. And there's also 6 USB 3 ports, one 3.1 Type A and one 3.1 Type C. There's also the Intel 211AT gigabit NIC with Max 2Q supported, an Intel dual band AC3168 wireless module, and Bluetooth 4.2 support. There is also the optical outline for 7.1 channel audio support, and a mic in, line out, and headphone out jack, as well as analog 5.1 surround support. So now it's finally on to conclusion time, and first I'll get out the only negative I have with this motherboard, and that is that it only features a single BIOS. I would have loved to have seen a dual BIOS implementation, though this is a trend that I have seen practically on all X3 motherboards upon initial release. And I am impressed with the continual BIOS updates that I have seen coming out, which have improved not only performance but also stability, and Asrock have added in options like overclocking profiles. And overall, the VRM, onboard audio, and dual band wireless and included 211 AT NIC all do a great job of providing a very solid motherboard overall. One that I can highly recommend to anyone looking to get a solid board for overclocking and having a great end user experience. I think Asrock have nailed it with the X370 Taichi, and I think at its current price, it's actually really good value as well. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let me know in the comments section below what you think of the X370 Taichi. I personally think it looks awesome and it performs awesome too. And I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. And also, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll peace out for now. Bye. That is an ugly cable. Gone. Cable management. Whatever's not on the camera looks good.